We are. Welcome everybody to Two Old Goats. My name is Brian J. Bebe, and with me is my good friend Patriot Pat. And tonight
Hi,
we have
everybody.
our first guest. Cory Kastle is with us tonight. Wrestler,
Cory Kastle.
actor.
Hello.
Oh,
Cory
Cory
Kastle.
Kastle. Cory Kastle, yes.
Gosh, where did that come from?
I have no
Cory
idea.
Kastle. I apologize.
No wonder you're not going to ask me about anything about
Yeah,
me
off to a
because you
great
don't know
start.
any of it. Not even my name.
I do actually. So.
Oh God, we're
Cool.
winning a Webby
Cool.
for this shit.
We really are.
First guest, huh?
First guest.
Maybe last.
The name fits.
Sure.
I feel like the oldest one in the room right now, so
I think you are.
I think I am. So we're just going to hang out and talk to Cory Kastle tonight. If any viewers have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments. We'll ask him on air, as long as they are not X-rated. We're good.
Let him
Or
be X-rated.
stupid.
Yeah,
No
that's
stupid
what Ginger said. Or stupid, yeah, which is the ones that we're going to be asking. So
Yeah, leave that to us.
That's our territory.
it is definitely our territory. So Cory, let's start off with how are you doing tonight, and you can give us a little bit of information about you, a little intro.
Yeah, man. I'm doing great. I'm doing swell. I'm over here pet sitting at my girlfriend's house. Normally, if I'm on any podcasts or anything like that, I'm at my house and I have my whole podcast set up with the mics and everything. So that might have been why. That might be why it's a little different. And Jukebox was giving me a little crap earlier. But yeah. I'm doing great, man. I just defended my No Limit title on Saturday in DCW in
Nice.
Marydale, Delaware. Yeah, I'm still the DCW No Limit champion. If you subscribe to DCW Overdrive TV on YouTube, you'll go ahead and you'll get that match when it's available. Me versus Showtime Dion Epps.
Nice.
I do actually watch some DCW and some old CZW, which you were a
Cool.
part of for a while.
Yes. Yeah.
So where are you from, or where do you call home?
Right now, and forever, I've always been from here. I have never lived anywhere besides where I'm from, which is kind of weird. Maybe I should do some changing of that. But I live in the Philly area.
Okay.
Hey, I grew up in Mount Laurel.
Nice.
Yeah, right by Cherry Hill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, in fact, we're gonna be going back there because I told my wife about the Pine Barrens, and she was enamored with that, so she wants to go walking around there. And I'm like, I spent too many Boy Scout camps there, but whatever.
Well, I mean, sometimes you've had your fill of Boy Scout camps. I can say I personally have had my fill of Boy Scout camps.
No, I think I had my fill of pine trees. It smells like a fucking air freshener out here.
Too many needles for my taste. You got some questions for Pat?
No, well, Cory and I have done. Check out Burn After Playing. Cory and I did a few of those with Jukebox and CJ Cracks and stuff. Those were a lot of fun. It's just a phone improv game. We're talking about doing some more of those and stuff. So this is the first chance I've ever had to actually talk to you. It's just seeing you in a little clip that you said. I'm like, man, that motherfucker's funny.
So, I appreciate you thinking that. That's that's what I was going. The one. That was what I was going for.
Okay, so you're from the Philly area, from the East Coast area and stuff, but I'm sure you doing the stand up and B doing the wrestling. You've traveled around a lot. Now, Brian and I Brian and I are both kind of foodies and stuff. So I want to know, where's one city you like to go to because you're like, oh, fuck yeah, they got that restaurant or they got this type of food or something like that?
If you ever go to Rochester, New York, there is a place. It's upstate, so it might not be in Rochester exactly. I'm not sure exactly where it's at, but it's somewhere around upstate New York, maybe Elmira, called the Peter Pan Diner.
Okay.
I went there once, and maybe it was just all the situations. Maybe it was the circumstances leading up to like that whole like I was in a road trip with like a few of my faction mates, I guess you'd say, riding buddies. It was my tag partner and I was in 2 tag teams at that time, so my 2 different tag team partners were fighting with each other, and it was, you want to get out of the car? Yeah, let's get out of the car. And like it was ridiculous. It was so stupid, and this was probably 2008 or something, and they were like, oh yeah, let's stop at that Peter Pan Diner, and it looked like the Peter Pan from the peanut butter. I bet you it doesn't really even exist. Maybe it only exists in my brain because it saved us that day, and they had excellent cheeseburgers.
That's actually I was thinking everybody's going to look up Peter Pan Diner, and there's not going to be one anywhere in New York.
Well, I'll tell you how to get there. Yeah, if you're thinking about going to Rochester, New York, you take the second start to the left. You go on straight to the
That's the perfect directions, I would say. So, being an independent wrestler, also, I'm sure you don't travel alone for the most part.
Yeah. Sometimes I do, and I those are my least favorite outings.
They are,
especially if there's cornfields. I start getting dozy.
Yeah, exactly. But so Pat and I go to a lot of independent wrestling shows, and I actually work with a company here, CSW, Central States Wrestling. We bring in a lot of guys from St. Louis. We're in Kansas City, so it's about a 4-hour drive. I'd say about half the people that come in from St. Louis. They come in 4 people in a car. So if you have a few people in a car, like let's say you're regular people, who has the worst musical taste in the car? And you can go ahead and say it because, number one, music's subjective, and you're not actually burying the wrestler, you're burying their music.
And no one's gonna hear it anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I say that on my podcast all the time. My podcast, Evolving with Cory Kastle on Spotify.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
I always go. Whenever I talk about like, oh look, the stakes are low. There's no consequences. No one's gonna hear it anyway. I always say that as a way to go like, yeah, go ahead, speak your mind, say whatever you feel like saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
But even though people are gonna hear it, of course. But I couldn't say that anyone's musical taste has been one that's like been pretty awful. I think there's this referee, and he's a manager. He's a good friend of mine. He manages under the name Craig Z List. He listens to a lot of he listens to a lot of like The Cure, and I don't get it. I get it that you get it. I just don't get it. It's not awful,
all right.
but it ain't for me.
This
I was going to say, I know a guy who's been to a couple of shows this summer and is going to more.
I saw him 3 times this summer, and I'm going to see him at Riot Fest in Chicago in a few weeks.
Dude, you know what's great? So many bands that I'm so into, none of my friends like. Like I go to so many concerts by myself because my friends don't like my music. So I'm outing myself by saying who has the worst taste in music out of your friends group. I'm like, it's me. I'm the one. It's me. I'm the most. My musical taste is the most hated in the car, on the roads.
Well, I wasn't, I knew the radio stuff, but it's my wife's favorite band. So she was like, oh, you want to go? So we went to Denver, Minneapolis, and Atlanta. And I was like, fuck yeah, road trips. All right. And now I'm just like, I'm thinking of which Cure tattoo to get and all that shit. So I think, also, I wasn't a huge fan until I saw him live. And I'm like, oh, now I get it. So,
so they were the Cure the whole time for something I didn't know I was ailed with.
So what's on the radio or what's on the Spotify when you're driving down the road?
I mostly listen to like Incubus. I'd say I probably listen to the Incubus the most. They're my favorite band. I just saw them in Atlantic City like 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
but
cool.
I listen to lots of Nako and Medicine for the People. These are just like hippie stuff that nobody else listens to. I listen to Satsang a lot. That's another thing no one else in my friend groups, nobody in any of my friend groups listens to.
I've heard of Incubus, and that's it. Every other, I'm like, oh yeah, fuck yeah,
sure.
Well, I listen to tons of Chris Cornell. I love listening to Chris Cornell.
Oh yeah.
I'll listen to this is so silly. I took my mom in July to see Boy George in the Culture Club. Oh man, that was awesome. Cool. My mom, and you know what was cool about it was too, because like my Boy George is so important for my relationship with my mom. I was born on my mom's birthday, and the day that was her 24th birthday, the day that I was being born, was when she saw Boy George for the first time on Johnny Carson, and then when she saw Boy George, she was like, "Oh my God, this person is completely, fully comfortable being who they are, and he's a queer person." And then my mom saw that and was a little bit inspired by it. My mom came out of the closet when I was a kid,
sure.
And so I thought it was important to take her to see Boy George.
That's cool.
And
absolutely.
And the way she was, I love it so much because, like sometimes when artists will like talk a little bit on the microphone between songs, she was like, he was saying something and my mom screamed out, and I never saw her do this before. She screamed out and she went, "I'll listen to anything you have to say, George." Like she like fangirled so hard, and I had chills. I was like, I love this moment. I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life. But when I went down there, I drove separately because my mom rode with my brother and my sister. So they came and met me down there because they were down the shore. So they got stuck in traffic, and I was waiting at the venue in the parking lot of my car for a while. And I listened, and I had discovered there was a Chris Cornell album that got released in 2020 that I didn't know about. And it was called No One Sings Like You Anymore. And I listened to that in my car by myself in the parking lot of the Boy George concert, just crying. And I was like, oh.
It's stuff like that that's good, that you don't know and you just discover it. You can, like my wife will say all the time, you listen to some of the stuff that just like nobody listens to, because I like discovering bands like you do. It's just, one of my favorite things to do. But I was going to say, my cousin, actually, she went to Boy George, I want to say about a week ago. And then last Friday night, Incubus was here. So it's kind of funny to hear that, they're all going around right now. They're here.
Yeah, I just saw Incubus. I saw Incubus. I saw Incubus in Atlantic City like last week, and I saw Boy George maybe the week before that. It was on a Sunday, but on the Friday of that week, I saw. Dude, I sound so privileged. I'm disgusted by it. I'm sorry, but I just saw Stained the Friday before that week. So I saw Stained. Nice. It was supposed to be Stained and Godsmack, but it got rained out. So Godsmack wouldn't go on, and they gave us a rain date and they gave us tickets, so we're going back in October.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
Man,
are
you don't sound
2 stain tickets for the price of one.
at all. Shit.
No, I mean,
You don't sound privileged.
hey,
it'd be different if they were giving you the tickets, but you're buying them.
Yeah, exactly. and I mean, if I had all that movie star money, I'd do the same thing. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
right. Yeah.
I'm
Well, there's
just saying.
residuals from being.
We'll see your name in
Italian.
lights one day, Cory Clash.
Hey, now I know where I messed up on that. Okay.
Was it because the group
It's
that we're
Cash.
in is called the Clash of the Casters?
No, actually, I have a friend on Twitter whose name is Cory Clash. So I see Cory Kastle, and they both start with K, and I'm like,
I
I'm
follow both of you on Twitter, and I got to look, and I'm like, is that? Oh, that's that Cory. Oh, that's that Cory.
It's a slippery slope.
It is, and especially when you're as old as this goat is, you know. I mean, it's just kind of the way.
Are you guys? I know you guys are involved in a way with the independent wrestling business.
Yes, sir.
Want to tell me a little bit more about that? What is it that you've been doing? Where were you? Were you guys trained? Were you in the business?
No,
like in the
neither
ring?
one of us are trained in the ring. Well, so I got in. I've been watching wrestling since I was like 3. So 1978, I started watching wrestling. My dad took me to my very first show at 3 years old. Loved it ever since. Started. So there was a company here in Kansas City, and it traveled from Kansas City to St. Louis every other week. They would do a show called the NWL, National Wrestling League, and it was really big. Well, that closed down, and I knew a couple of guys that were the owners of a new company that came from that. So I just started helping them out. And actually, the first chance I had, I went to St. Louis and helped out a guy named Matt Jackson with St. Louis Anarchy. And he gave me my first shot, and I drove there.
And he didn't give you a job at his company, the All Elite company? He's one of the brothers, right?
Well, yeah.
Young Bucks?
No. This is a different Matt Jackson. This is a different one.
Okay. Oh.
This is no. This is a totally different Matt Jackson.
If I like Matt Jackson, I would know who you are because they give their friends jobs.
Yeah, no. I like this Matt Jackson. He's a good dude. So he runs it all.
He wears Adidas.
Yeah, he wears Adidas. So anyway, I went out there and helped him out for free. Left at like 7 a.m. Drove out, helped him set up the ring. I took pictures for him because I was a photographer at the time. Took 1,200 pictures. Just handed them the SD card. It was their first show back. Jumped in the car after we got done tearing down the ring and everything. I had also taken my son, who was like 18 years old at the time, and his friend, who's a wrestler, and drove back in complete silence because they were asleep. And I got home at like 5 a.m. So that's kind of how I got my start in it. And now,
did you get your son's friend booked on the show? Did he have a match?
I didn't, but he got himself booked. He was on the pre-show. In a 6-man scramble, and he's really good. Pat knows him, Mighty Micah.
That's your son's friend?
Yes.
I've been a Micah fan for years.
My son's friends are Mighty Micah, Kenny Alfonso, and the Premier. So I've known all these. It's weird because I've known all these kids since my son was like a sophomore in high school. Like I met all these kids, and now they're all wrestling, and it makes me feel super old. But I just started helping out this company called Journey Pro, ran by a couple of guys that were in the NWL, and would go help them set up, tear down, all that stuff. And one of the wrestlers there, Michael Strider, owns CSW now, and they've been going for about 2 years. And so I've been helping them out, and I'm the resident timekeeper and jack of all trades.
Nice.
So I'm a behind-the-scenes guy, but a little bit in front.
Neat.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
I had a buddy that ran a small indie promotion in Indiana when I lived there, South Bend area. and yeah, it's called EHF. I don't even know what that state, but he was like, "Hey, I need a ring announcer. You want a ring announce?" But I don't care. And I mean, I've been doing stand up for over a decade, so talking in front of a crowd is no big deal. So I did a whole bunch of ring announcing for him. And it's funny too, because some of the Jason Hotch, who's on Impact, I used to announce him to the ring. There've been a couple other guys where I'm like, holy shit, I was calling him to the ring a few years ago. So that's pretty cool to see these kids, succeeding. But
does it make you feel old too? Like it?
I am young and spry. Look at this face. This is the epitome of youth.
He's the young one. I'm the old one, apparently.
Do you know what makes me feel old? Really, really old, I guess now. I don't know how old I was, but I knew I was probably in the business for a while at that point, maybe 9-10 years. When I met Adam Cole, he was 17 years old. It was his first day at wrestling school. I met him on his first day of wrestling school when he was 17 years old. Now I look at him on TV. He's got a gray beard like you do, Pat. Like, and I'm like, what happened? I knew him when he was a little kid. Now he's older than me somehow. How did he get older than me?
Hey, be thankful. Be thankful for that. Your beard's all nice and brown, So.
Oh yeah. Oh, my shit started. I remember I was in the Army and I took my helmet off, and I was 22 years old, and I had one gray hair right here, and that shit just spread like wildfire. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm 47 now, but I've been this white for the past like 15 years.
Cool, man.
It's finally catching up to me. I'm starting to look at.
When that happens to me eventually, when I start getting grays, I have been saying that I'm just gonna like own him when it happens, because like I'm lucky enough that I got to, I'll be 40 in a couple months, and I don't have any facial hair. I don't have any grays, and my hair. I don't have any hair loss or anything. I've been so blessed.
Oh,
no,
must be nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hashtag
must be
blessed.
Really nice. So I'll tell you quick.
Bald or gray or
I know.
Fuck you two guys. Look at me. I'm beautiful.
I'm beautiful.
Hey, you guys, both of you.
Yeah. So
you guys, look how defective y'all are.
Tell you a quick story. So my oldest son, who's friends with all the wrestlers, he turns 25 later this month. We had him when we were young. I was 22. My wife is 21 when we got married. So it was like the next year we had him. My son was 3 years old, and my brother has had the same bald spot on his head up until the last few years. But he had the same, and it was no bigger than a dime. It was just that size. From the time of high school, it was right here on his head until he turned almost 40. He had the same little spot. Well, when my son was 3 years old, I said, go over there and rub your Uncle Kevin's head and start laughing and then run away. And he'd do it. 6 months after I started saying that to him and he was doing it, mine started falling out. So be careful.
That's what I've heard has happened. Yeah, I've heard that can happen.
And it does.
Yeah. The guy who actually broke me into the wrestling business, Discount Dewey Donovan. He's bald as shit now, but he used to have really long hair like me when I was younger, and we were all younger actually at the time. How weird is that we were all younger all at once?
It happens.
Idiot. Idiot. But then we were making fun of him for his hair falling out because he started receding or something, and he was like, "Hey man, my hair didn't start doing this till I worked at some arcade with some other guy whose hair was receding, and I was making fun of him." And I was like, "All right, well, I don't think that's how that happens. I don't think that's how that works. But if you want to tell."
If that is how it works, then I'm just look at your big dick.
It worked on me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hey, nice Lamborghini, loser.
You successful twat.
Look at me, I got a six-pack.
I'm gonna start doing that tomorrow. I got a six pack. Look at me. So, it's good to see Lucha Chris in the chat.
Oh, Lucha Chris
Yeah.
there? Oh, wait, I'm on the private chat. Hey, there we go.
Yep, Lucha Chris.
Oh, and
Lucha
Quiet
Chris there.
Wyatt's here.
Our buddy who actually, this is the guy that kind of introduced us, Lucha Chris. Saw him when I was going Journey Pro shows. I'd see Chris, and he always wore a luchador mask. I never knew this guy's face even existed until last December, and I've known him for.
So you didn't think he had a face under the mask?
No, I knew he had a face under there, but I didn't know what it looked like. So I didn't know what he looked like until last December.
Like that Mel Gibson movie, Man Without a Face?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just picture his face, he lifts it off, there's another mask, you know?
If you go back in time, you can make Mel Gibson wear a lucha mask in that movie. It wouldn't have been so bad.
Yeah, no, it would have been fine. Absolutely fine.
Well, shit, now I'm thinking what mask? Like a Bandito or a Psychosis?
Yeah. Gravity. No. I think we go with La Parka. La Parka was one of my favorites.
I like the stock Bane masks that happen just on the Independents. Like,
yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's just well. In their defense, in some independent shows I've been to, you do need those air filters. It's just.
I've seen a couple. Yes. So
it's probably better I don't see your full face.
Probably most of the time, yeah. I should wear one for the show actually, but I wouldn't want to pull off Lucha Chris's gimmick there.
I don't think he'd mind.
Yeah, he would. He gave up that gimmick for a while, so.
AEW has a commentator who wears a mask, so why can't that company have a timekeeper who wears a mask?
They could.
Yeah,
they really could.
Actually, yeah, we went to, and it was Chris, my wife, and I. We went to an AEW show. We got like 5th row on hard camera side, and so my wife and I, she loves Excalibur, and so she's like, I want to make an Excalibur sign. We decided, we talked about it and stuff, so we made the perfect sign, and it was at a lull. This was when the Bucks and the Jericho's group before the JAS.
The Inner Circle?
The Inner Circle.
Yeah, it's when the Inner Circle and
or as Jim Cornette would call them, the Dinner Circle.
But there was a lull. There was a lull in the, they were doing the intros and stuff, and I was like, hey babe, now let's hold up our sign. So I hold up my sign, and it says, my wife is my soulmate. My wife holds hers up and says, my soulmate is Excalibur. And we're holding them right next to each other. Somebody actually captured that on it. That's why I love the internet. The internet is a cesspool, but at other times it's beautiful. Somebody captured that, made it a GIF, sent it to Excalibur. He retweeted it. He's like, oh my. And then we watched the pay-per-view, the next pay-per-view, and they had a sign that was like, my wife is my soulmate. Somebody had, my soulmate is Eddie Kingston. I was like, yeah.
It started a trend.
He did.
Yes.
And then it died. And then it died right there. But I was like, you know what? We got one.
So do you let's bring it back a little bit to some stuff. So my wife is spent a lot of time in Massachusetts and Westminster, actually Fitchburg, Massachusetts.
Okay.
So she'd always telling me since we were dating, and we started dating in 97 or 93, got married in 97.
Yeah.
He always would tell me about Salem, Massachusetts. We got to go to Salem, Massachusetts. Well, last year, our 25th anniversary, we went. So we fly. Now, as Pat has said, I am a foodie. So I'm looking at this trip we booked. We have a 45, 50-minute layover in Philly. Fly from Kansas City to Philly, Philly to Boston. So we get there. Our flight takes off at 10:35, I want to say. So we have to board a little bit earlier. We land to get there. I'm like, perfect. I have always wanted to have a Philly cheesesteak from Philly. So I'm walking around for like 20 minutes. Everybody's like, oh, none of them open till like 10:30. I was like, great. I was like, the one time I'm here, and this
You
was
can get a cheesesteak for breakfast, bro.
yeah, you can. I mean, I
I know,
can.
but I'm
I'd
saying,
love to.
yeah, they make them with eggs and stuff sometimes. But
Yeah,
but maybe the time when you went there, maybe they stopped doing it because they knew you were
oh,
traveling to Salem.
there is
They
more.
all shut they
Oh,
shut them all down. They're like, oh, there's Salem people coming here. Oh my god.
oh, my friend, there is more to this story. So, and at that time, like our gates were like 3 gates away from each other. So, quick, short, John. So we went, had a great time, flew back. So I mean, Salem's just I can't describe it really. It's one of the really cool places to be. It's the most accepting community of communities there is. Like everybody's welcome. You could walk down the street dressed up as an elephant and people would just come up to you, shake your hand, start talking to you for an hour.
They wouldn't shake your trunk.
They don't care. Probably not the trunk, but you don't know. Someone might, but it.
Yeah.
But it was.
You'd never forget that.
It's really
Yeah.
accepting. They have great food, and so it's like
I mean, they wouldn't. Maybe they would ask for consent before they would touch your trunk.
I think they're so nice up there. They would. Like it's not anything near like the Boston, attitude towards things. Everybody's really it's really cool. So we got
Dude,
back.
Boston. I was just in Boston like 2 weeks ago.
It's crazy.
Or 3 weeks ago or something. I don't know. It was a couple weeks ago. It was my girlfriend's sister's birthday, and we went to Boston. It is so like here in Philly, everything feels dangerous all the time. Nothing felt dangerous at all. Like the weather outside is frightful. And the weather I'm talking about the danger level outside.
Yeah.
and it wasn't like that in Boston at all. I'm sure there's parts of Boston, but every part we were at didn't feel like that.
And Boston's great, but I'm talking about like the people as far as their attitudes and like it's a lot of the people, if you hang around there long enough, is like I'm gonna get my way, I'm going this way in traffic and you're just gonna move. I mean, kind of stuff like that. But so we got back from this vacation and I was like enamored with this place that we had just spent like 4 days, 3 nights in. So I'm on my computer like a week later. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, just checking to see how much it'd be to go back." So she's like, "You really want to go back?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, I didn't know if you would." Well, turns out we end up going back just this last June. Booked the flights I went through Priceline, booked the flights and everything. And lo and behold, we fly from Kansas City to Philadelphia, from Philadelphia to Boston. We leave Kansas City at 6 a.m. We leave Kansas City at like 7 a.m. We land in Philadelphia approximately the same time we did last time. This time, everybody's getting off the plane really slow. And we're towards the front. We're about a third of the way back. Finally get off the plane. We have 9 minutes to make it to the next gate. I thought, that's great. The gates are only like 3 apart. It was on the other side of the airport. So as we're pretty much running down these people mover escalators, we're passing restaurants at 10:15 in the morning. Philly cheesesteak, Philly cheesesteak, Philly cheesesteak, Philly cheesesteak. And I'm watching them all go by, smelling them and dreaming that I would get one. So I missed it a second time. And still had a great trip. But I'm hoping next June there's a little bit bigger of a gap in time that I can get one.
You still didn't get one?
I did not get one, even though they were selling them, because we had 9 minutes to get on our flight.
Oh man! Well, you got to get a friend in Philly to like FedEx you one.
Yeah, or what I need to do is just buy first class ticket, which I'm pretty too cheap to do. I mean.
The Philly cheesesteak.
You already talked yourself out of it before you even before you committed it to an actual plan.
I
You're
kind
like,
of do.
I should get a first class ticket. I'm too cheap to get one of those, so probably not going to get one.
No.
I guess never mind to everything.
You know what I was thinking? Look at you with your first class tickets. Maybe I'll get bumped up.
Fuck it, you bought them. You only live once. Go first class. Get your cheesesteak.
Hey, if I had the money to, I would. But we are planning on going back and hopefully spending more time at the Philly airport, at least for another 30 minutes, so I can get one.
Have you ever seen a physical altercation on an airplane while it's in the air?
I have not.
No.
Do you know why that doesn't happen? Because
I
it's
do not.
fight or flight, one or the other. You can't do both at the same time.
Man,
you are perfect for this podcast.
Wow.
What are you doing 2 Wednesdays from now?
Why is that? What's going on?
We may need a third person in here.
Fight or flight. Oh my God. Oh
yeah, it's fun. But...
oh crap! Sorry, the dog knocked the phone off. The dog knocked the phone off.
It's all right. We're live. These things happen.
Hey, I got leg cramps last time I was flapping around, so it's all good.
Flopped on the bed even.
Check out our last episode, if you want to see me.
Very good on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
So
I'm getting up on the couch.
Yeah, you're good.
There you go.
Good. Who designs your gear?
My gear? Me.
Yeah.
Me. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't make it. I don't know how to. I don't sew or anything.
Hi, puppy. But you're like, hey, I want a ABC. I want across my butt it to say Clash with a K.
Yeah. So I basically take a piece of paper and I draw out what I'd like to see. I think I've most of my time that I've gotten this particular kind of gear, I'd say. I would say it's probably inspired by like Alex Shelley type gear, you know what I mean? Like the long tights kind of thing. And I'd say that it's like a little bit of like AJ Styles sort of inspiration for how I kind of wanted because I thought with long tights you have so much more room to like design what you'd like there to be on the gear.
Oh yeah.
And like all my favorite wrestlers, like in the era that they were my favorite wrestlers, were wearing long tights. So like I'd say the guys I looked up to the most and wanted to be like the most when I was a kid watching wrestling was like first off Chris Jericho, Triple H, Edge, Christian, and all long-haired white boys like me.
There you go.
But yeah,
actually not anymore. Not a single one of them has long hair.
Not anyone. Jericho has long
white
hair again. But
Jericho does. Yes,
but it might not all be his real hair. Who knows?
I mean, and the guy who passed you in age, Adam Cole, has long hair, doesn't he?
Yeah. But he doesn't wear long tights. He wears those trunks that look like undies.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if undies trunks were ever good for me. I don't know if I ever thought that would be a good look for me.
Or as Pat's wife calls them, panties.
Yep. Look at the wrestler's panties.
So this is Bowie. He really wants some attention.
Hi, Bowie.
He's fine. He can be a half guest on here.
Yeah, my dog was flipping her shit downstairs. I think somebody left the house.
Oh. But as we said, we both love food. We both love music, and we've started a new, we started out making a Spotify playlist. Last week, Pat and I each gave 3 songs, and this week we're going to give 1 song, and we're going to put it on the playlist. So
Okay.
all 10 of our fans who watch and listen can listen to our playlist. So what we're going to ask
it is
guests,
titled Two Old Goats on Spotify.
Old Goat.
And it is a public playlist.
And just to warn you, we play nothing but country. No, I'm just kidding. Neither one of us put country on there.
I mean,
No.
I have no problem with country music at all. I don't.
No, it's 100% the Cure.
All the Cure.
All the time.
All the Cure.
It's depressing
all
as hell.
All day.
Hey, are you feeling good about yourself? Stop it.
They're not
feeling good about yourself. You better stop it.
That's the Smiths. Fuck Morrissey.
So anyway, we're gonna get a. We're each gonna give one tonight, and we would like you to as well. If you have one in mind or can think of one.
Yeah. Anytime anyone's ever asked me to come up with a song to add to a list or to like use for like a hype up, to like, you know, be like something to like go, oh yeah, we're gonna use this for introing you in the podcast. What song should we pick? I always say Guerrilla Radio by Rage Against the Machine.
Good song.
Not to say that that's my theme song or anything. I don't use that when I come to the ring, but I think it's a song that really pumps you up.
Absolutely.
All right.
So now you will be known as Guerrilla Radio. Yeah. That's all right. Last podcast, I had a band called, you may have heard of them. They're from the New York area. Two Skinny Jays. They're really kind of started off in the rock rap type, but they're funny. All their songs have a sense of humor to them.
I like humor, and I like rock rap stuff.
It goes well. Like, I mean, the first song on the album is called
Gangish.
They're not quite as rated R-ish, you know. I mean, but
okay.
PG-13 Bloodhound Gang.
I mean, the first song on there, the first song.
They're actually just called Pee-Pee Hound Gang.
Pee-Pee Hound.
Because
the first song.
It's more family friendly.
It is. I try to be family friendly on occasion.
That's gonna be like Bloodhound Society. You don't want any gangs, but Bloodhound group fraternity.
Well, let's change it from Bloodhound to Hound Dog. Hound Dog. Okay. Hound Dog friends.
Oh. Anyway, sorry, Brian.
No, you're good. You're good. So this week, Pat, who do you have going on the list?
I'm going with one of my favorites. It's old school 80s punk, Fugazi, Waiting Room. If you like old school punk, you should listen to it. If you don't like old school punk, you'll listen to it and you'll like old school punk.
It's old school punk is good.
My girlfriend is a South Philly Italian, so that sounds like a word I've heard her say.
Fugazi, yeah.
It very well could be. So I am also going in the punk this week, and I've been thinking about this since our last podcast. I'm going to go with a band called the Vandals.
Oh.
And we're going to go with, and to go along with the show, because I really like to laugh and have a good time, we're going to go with a song called My Girlfriend's Dead.
That's their number one song. Oh, and I started playing it accidentally because I don't know how to control my phone.
Well, I kind of thought that was part of the whole thing. I thought that was part of the segment.
Yeah. We don't have the licensing to play copywritten music.
No.
But you know what? They want to stir up society. They are vandals.
They are vandals, and technically we can play 1 minute and 29 seconds without getting in trouble.
Yeah, but if we do that, that'd be really Fugazi. I don't know if
really
I
would.
That right. I don't know.
It
sounded
feels like
right.
it feels like it's the right context. Yeah.
It was. It really was.
But if we did do it, that would be some guerrilla radio shit. Oh,
Oh.
did it.
Dude, do you
Oh.
have you guys gotten any copyright strikes on YouTube yet ever?
No.
Oh God,
No.
They get you for like I played like a clip of like a little piece of a song, and I was like it was only 2 seconds, and then they copyright striked my whole channel.
Wow.
They really are putting a
That seems a bit excessive.
Yeah, exactly.
It was very
F, man.
aggressive.
But
what?
at least they didn't edit the whole, like what they used to do, where when they used to put like copyright strikes on a video of yours, they would take all of the sound out of everything you did. Like so,
Yeah.
it would just be just the video, and they take all the sound out. At least they didn't do that.
True.
Jeez.
Yeah. But still, that's a pain in the butt.
Just so everyone knows, our theme song is public domain.
It is. It is public domain. We made sure of it. Pat made sure of it. He found the theme song. And I think the goats were public domain too. We'd have to ask Jukebox.
Oh, fuck, they better be.
those Billy Goats are really going to come at you with a lawsuit.
If not, if not, I had another fantastic story. Saturday, I haven't gone to one of these since I was probably a kid with my parents. Went to a swap meet at the drive-in. Now, there is everything you can think of to buy at a swap meet. I've seen anything from brooms to tables to toilet paper, shampoo, shower gel, Matchbox cars, vacuum cleaners, TVs. There was a go-kart. And then there was a guy, I was walking down and I saw these, like the kennel cages you would get for your dog. And they're the big ones. And I'm like, what is this? He's selling chickens, ducks, and billy goats.
We had a fucking mascot and you just walked on by.
I had to.
So were these alive or dead?
I had to. I mean, I didn't have the money for it. It's only
Are they alive?
We could get one, Pat, if you want to pitch in.
Are they alive or dead?
No, they were alive. They were alive.
So we're selling their.
They weren't dead.
Selling their. Yeah, you ever eat goat meat?
They had 3 goats. No, but I tell you what, he was selling them chickens. So I could have, and I mean, honestly,
if you were to exchange chicken for ground beef, while you're there, the swap meet would be so damn literal.
Literal swap meet. Yep. That might be the name of the episode.
We've swapped meat.
No, Earl, I'm telling you, we just got to change one letter in the sign. Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
I mean, $65, we could get a goat.
I don't know what the zoning laws are in Kansas. So.
I don't either. I just know that my backyard would have no grass in it.
Oh, I think it'd be funny to see, because I got a shepherd. Well, not a German shepherd, but like a herding dog.
Uh-huh.
And I would love to see her with a goat, because she'd be running around trying to herd that fucker, and he'd be fucking headbutting her.
Here, go out and herd that one goat.
To have a goat in your backyard would be a grazing.
It would be. I think it'd be awesome, but I was already told no. So.
Was it a full size goat? Or was it like a pygmy goat?
They were going to be full size goat, well, like you'd see at a petting zoo.
Oh,
so not
Jukebox is tuned in
one.
now. He just got on.
Yeah. Great. Here come the comments. It's a good thing he didn't hear what we were talking about earlier.
Way to hook him in. He's gonna have to hear the whole episode now.
He has to.
Shit,
There goes another listener.
he's our editor.
Yeah. He's our producer.
Producer.
Cool.
No, he's actually been very generous with us about starting this podcast and helping us out quite a bit. So we do appreciate him.
Okay, so Cory,
Yeah.
what you got coming up, either in the ring or on the stage?
I'm about to start. I'm about to start my own mic at the bar that I work at part time as a bar back. But I'm gonna start doing my own comedy open mic coming up this upcoming Friday. McStew's Tavern in Levittown, PA.
Nice.
And that, I think, is all I got coming up in comedy. And in wrestling, I don't have anything until September 30th. And I'm also doing cosplay pro wrestling. So like I do like comic book conventions and like anime conventions,
Nice.
video game conventions, and they set up a ring and we do like last show I was Aquaman, and I faced Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat.
Oh, that's cool.
I hope you kicked his butt.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Nice. So where can people find you on all the socials? Because I know that's important nowadays.
On Instagram, I just deleted my Facebook, but not like I didn't delete my Facebook account, so it's still there. If you want to follow me on Instagram or follow me on Facebook, you follow me at Cory Kastle, CoryKastle. No, the L is at the end, not in the beginning of the word Castle.
Right. I got that. I'm remembering things now. I took my meds.
So at Cory Kastle on anything. But like I said, I always let everybody know who's ever tuned into anything I've been a part of, how grateful I am that you've spent the currency of your time and your effort on consuming any words that I have to say, or any video I've ever been in, or any audio that I've ever produced or participated in. So grateful for the currency of your effort. And if you just want to follow me, that's fine. But my DMs are also wide open. So if you follow me on Twitter or on Instagram, any of that, or on Threads or any of that, you can text me and ask me whatever's going on. Don't ever feel like you're alone. Don't ever feel like you don't have a resource. Don't ever feel like
Exactly.
You're a rudderless ship. Let me be your rudder, brother.
I hear you. Yeah, my Pat and I are pretty much the same way. I believe, you know.
Don't let me in. No, don't.
I'm the same way. Yeah, Pat's pretty stingy with his DMs unless he likes you.
Yeah, I'm gonna open it up and just get bombarded with dicks.
No, you have a problem with that? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, don't show me your dicks.
Well, I get jealous. Just
Jukebox is gonna go, what the hell is going on with that? That's a whole nother story we're gonna have to tell.
Oh, you loser with your abs and your big dick, loser.
You're gonna have to then now he's gonna have to watch, so we'll have yet another listener.
No, but in all honesty, yeah. I do agree with you, Cory. If you need to reach out and fucking, you know me from Twitter, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. I've been through so much shit that I know what it's like to feel like absolute nothing. And here I am on this podcast with almost 10 watchers. No, but I mean, you know, here I am, you know, I got through it and stuff, and you just need an ear. Fuck it. Yeah.
And that's why we do this. You got to have fun in life as well. You know, have
you
some
get one
laughs.
trip on this rock.
I also host host a podcast that's extreme. It's exclusively streams on Rumble, and that show we put them on every Sunday morning. They go on Rumble. It's called the Sunday Stew Pot, and I host it with a guy who used to wrestle, retired pro wrestler. He wrestled in the WWF in the '90s. He was called Beef Stew Lou Marconi.
Okay.
So our show, the Sunday Stew Pot, put lots of clips on that on our Instagram pages. But to get full episodes, go on to rumble.com and then just type in the Sunday Stew Pot. And that's basically, like it's more of like a right-wing sort of audience. It's more of like a right-wing sort of conservative type of website, I guess. It's considered like the free speech platform. They don't like copyright strike you, and they don't like go, hey, that was hate speech. So I've been digging that. Not to say that I'm like even right wing or conservative or anything like that, but like Lou is. And when he talked to me, I actually conversed with him, and it's neat to have something like that exist.
Sure, absolutely.
Shit, it's neat to have conversation exist in this day and age.
Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't say that I identify as any. I'm not on any of the teams. Don't put me on your red team or your blue team. It's the same. I say it like this. I'm from Philly, right? So all growing up, most kids would wear like Eagles stuff to school. But if a kid would show up with like a Dallas Cowboys hat on, everyone would be like, asshole. And then they would be like, and then it'd almost be like they were doing that because they were liking the negative attention, because any attention is important, right?
Yeah.
So like they were scratching that itch. And I think I get the same vibe from like MAGA hats.
Yep.
I get the same vibe from like a Trump flag. It's just like we get it. You aren't paying attention to enough. Sorry, buddy. I'll be your friend. I'll listen to you. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So would now be a good time to tell you that we're from Kansas City and the Chiefs are here? Are you going to end the interview?
Oh, bro,
we whooped that ass.
Not really. We beat them though.
I don't care. Not one bit. I don't care.
Because I mean, we all know that the NFL is not real. It's all scripted, right?
Dude, everything's a work. Wrestling is the only thing. The only thing that admits that it's a work. Every other thing is a work. The freaking moon landing was a work.
Wrestling is real, right? People are fake.
But dude, everything's a work. Like I say it all the time. Like when I got into the wrestling business, I was a kid. So like a lot of my friends were not. They're like, oh, I couldn't get into that because like I wouldn't want to be in a sport where like I had to lose on purpose. And I'm like, idiot. Like in the movie, the bad guy dies at the end sometimes. This is the same shit. It's not me losing. It's me being the bad guy and dying at the end. I'm playing the part. This is every single part of it is the puzzle pieces that make this entire landscape show up in the bright colors that it is. And
exactly.
Yeah, I think that same analogy goes for everything. So like, as long as people get outraged by stuff that they're supposed to get outraged by, there's gonna be more stuff to outrage them. So like that's the cycle we continue ourselves upon.
So you bring up the bad guy dies at the end or loses at the end. So since you brought up like kind of the heel baby face thing, so this is my one last question for you. Would you say that most of the wrestlers who are heels in the ring are some of the nicest people outside of the ring.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
No.
Man, it must be just some of the guys that I know then, because I know some
No,
guys
no,
that are
dude, they're
dicks in
baby
the
facing
ring.
your ass, dude.
Yeah. No. Pat would know what I'm talking about if I said the Premier local tag team here. That if you were a fan and you saw them walk in, you would just hate them. Like you'd throw your entire $10 soda at them and be happy about it. But outside of the ring, they are two of the nicest guys. And I've known these are college kids that I've known since they were sophomores in high school. Okay, so
yeah, the wrestling business is definitely, it needs some repair for sure.
sure.
Like I think that if it was treated like an actual performance art, I think if it was treated like a athleticism, so I was going back to saying, like, I started wrestling when I was 14 years old. I came from like a broken home. I was on probation. I was a bad kid. I found wrestling and I wanted to be a wrestler. I escaped how like my life kind of stunk a little bit, just to sort of like be something better than what I was on the path of. And if there could be programs like that set up with some sort of like government grants or something like that to really, because dude, I didn't have a dad. I didn't have a male role model. Wrestling was my male role model. So like this is something I think could like impact the future in a really good way. I mean, honestly, there are some really good people in wrestling. There is a lot of mud in that swamp, and you know, there's some old ways. There are some old ways that should be way expired that aren't. Like the way the money's set up, like the way promoters used people, like the way they like try to get the most out of you for the little, like this, they get the most and give you the littlest. I just, it feels shady and backwoods, even though it's 2023 and it's not updated. Like, dude, indie wrestling paydays have never changed. Like, I've been doing this shit since 2001, and it's the same shit. Like, so, it's like there's got to be some change for sure. If I can be the politician that forces that change, that's what I want. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do for my next chapters here. I'm about to turn 40. What I'd like to do is I would like to champion to make sure wrestling is in a way that it used to be. Like we're like journeymen, traveled vets, like well-established people who've been in the business could actually make a full-time living doing this. Like, where did that go? Why did we get screwed? How come? Hey, old generation, why'd you screw it up? It's truly something that I believe, if treated well, because not only am I wanting to stick up for the talent, I'm wanting to stick up for the crew, because like when I go to any show I ever go to, when the ring crew guys are there, the ring crew guys and girls setting up, doing all the chairs and everything they're doing, I make sure I go over to them and I say thank you for every single thing you're doing, because a good amount of the time they're volunteering their time. A good amount of time they're not recognized, they're not thanked, but they're getting to go to pro wrestling for free, right? So that's the only benefit for them. So I want to make sure that they feel like the guy who they maybe look up to on the show is also making sure to let them know that they're seen. and respected, because dude, without people who've done the stuff that you do, there wouldn't be me. If there wasn't marks, if I wasn't a mark, then this business wouldn't exist, because the marks run the business. So we really gotta get on the same page somehow and create some sort of foundation, or some sort of like true professionalism, where
Agreed.
like it's regulated better, and like there are actual government funds or like state funds or something for like athletics, and like they barely pay attention. Like they will let anybody who shows up at a wrestling school who has $2,500, they let them be a wrestler. There's got to be way more vetting to that. There's got to be a process that's like, look, man, like, why do you want to do this? And what do you expect to get out of it? Like, I get it. No, I wouldn't have been able to answer that question if somebody had asked me back in 1998 why I wanted to do it. But it's certainly like I know there's this guy in Delaware who was running a wrestling school named Mark Caro, and he used to give out like different color wristbands, like martial artists, like when they graduate a belt color. He did this with wristbands, and then he had a way where like the people will walk in wearing their wristbands, and then they would bump their bands, like as a way to know like we're on the right system here. We're graduating in a way, and we're gradually getting to a point where we're like fully trained wrestlers. And that's not the case. Like, I don't think, bro, I the amount of times I've been lowballed by somebody who goes, why would I pay you your amount when I can pay this guy who has got a car full of guys nothing? I'm like, well, if you want professionals, that's why you would pay me. But that they don't care. They just care about being a mark for themselves. Them doing that, they're just gonna break even. And it's weird how like anybody who wants to start a independent pro wrestling company doesn't want to like make money. They just want to like break even with it and like pat their own selves on the back. And it's a very strange thing. It's something I really want to dive deeper into, trying to contribute to the betterment of the wrestling business. I haven't been a huge monetary success in the wrestling business so far. I've been doing it since I was a kid. So, I mean, I want to feel like I left it better than I found it, kind of thing. And I'm doing that when it comes to the kind of people that I work with and the kind of matches I have, and trying to like shepherd these guys into like learning what being over feels like, and like psychology on things. Like, and I get a lot from being a pro wrestler, a veteran in the wrestling business, but then also being a stand-up comedian. So I learn about like what's the proper ways to maneuver around getting to a spot or getting to a point. And dude, if I could like open up a local workshop and like kind of like do like a acting, stand-up comedy, pro wrestling class, man, that'd be a dream come true. That's absolutely something I could see myself doing. Instead, like, dude, I wrestle on a show every couple weeks, and I don't make enough money to. I don't make enough money to, like, it's basically it's like I'm paying to play. I've been doing this too long to pay to play. So it's like I'm basically putting all that into my gas tank, and I'm not being taken care of by the wrestling business part of it. But but like, I'm not saying I'm owed anything, because absolutely the wrestling business, like being a wrestler and pro wrestling has made me who I am, and I can't say it owes me anything. I love who I am. I'm dope as shit. If I was anybody else and I saw me, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I wish I was that guy. Oh man, I hate him. I wish I was him so bad. I'd hate him. Lamborghini and the big dick in the abs.
Yep. Well, see, that's why we wanted. That's why we wanted the famous. That's why we wanted the famous Cory Kastle on today. You know.
Oh,
I mean,
'Cause we know that you're awesome.
but I think that the point that, I mean, I did call my podcast, I did call it Evolving with Cory Kastle, because of how my mindset continues to evolve. It's not about my name being in the title because I need to put my name on there and I'm cool. But it's like you can listen to it from the very start. And I started the show back in 2017, and the kind of person I was back then, you can hear it. You can hear me becoming a more evolved person. Like for sure, if you would have messed up my name 2 seconds into the interview,
Gone.
Back in the day, I would have been like, oh, this sucks. Like I would have been like, dude, I work really hard on making that name mean something.
And you did, and that was my bad.
No, yeah,
and I apologize.
I mean, I can't take that stuff personally, because I'm flawed. I'm flawed just as much as anybody else. And I don't have a place to stand to judge you from. I can't do that unless I don't want us all to do better. Unless I don't want us all to evolve, because that's what I do want. Come evolve with me. That's why it's evolving with me, because we're like, come into this. If I'm bringing any value to anybody's like life or day, or giving them perspectives that didn't know that they needed, or giving them ways of looking at stuff that they wouldn't have thought of without hearing me talk about it, and that's bringing some value into your life, I'll feel like, and I say this kind of too much, maybe probably on my podcast, if the impact of that helps one person, and even if that happens years after I'm dead, I'll feel like that is a legacy I can be happy with.
Absolutely. You know? Absolutely. But I will tell you this. If you saw my actual last name, you wouldn't say it right.
No.
Ever. And I wouldn't take offense to it, because all my life I've had it that way. And it's not as cool as Castle, you know?
No, I fully get it, dude.
But,
my shoot last name in real life is Goins, spelled Goins, and people have been calling me Groins my whole life.
It could be worse.
My
you know?
Groins.
My last name is spelled Gaughan. It's pronounced Gone, just like Vaughn, but with a G. And when I was in the Army, I got Gaghan, Galgan, and then my favorite was Gay Gun. So, yeah.
Gay Gun. That's when you're like,
Gay Gun,
this
yeah.
This is my gun. No, there's many other guns like this gun.
This is my rifle. This is my gun. So yeah, I know what it's like having a fucked up last name.
Yep. I don't even want to start with mine.
I always got
I've seen your last name.
Because I have two older siblings. My older brother, who's just 2 years above me, and my sister, who's 1 year above me. There'd be three of us, and they'd go in, gone. Oh my God, that was awful. But, how awful is it to be called what your name is?
Pretty awful. Yeah.
Well, I go by Brian J. So, yeah, Mighty Micah, actually, Pat, was on a podcast, and the I-70 guys, friends of ours, and they were talking about me, because I had co-hosted the show, and he said, yeah, Brian Janishu. And Micah's like, I just call him Brian J, baby. and that's kind of where the name came from. So that's what I go by now because Brian J works, and no one needs to mess with the rest of it.
Yeah, I saw your last name, and now I was like, is there a vowel in there?
You're like, fuck that. Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus. Oh, it looks like somebody threw Scrabble tiles on the floor.
Pretty much.
It feels like your last name is like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction. Now I have to see it.
It's
I have to see
you're gonna you're gonna find me. He's gonna look at me on Twitter now and go, Brian, what?
It's just it's just the phonetic spelling of it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the my name originally comes from my great grandfather was from Bohemia, which turned into the Czech Republic.
Rhapsody.
I did too, but
I'm just a little silhouette of a man.
The name is actually so it would be Czechoslovakian, and I am mostly Native American, so that makes a lot of sense, right? So the last name is Janishek. And yeah, it's a lot of fun to look at, not to say.
That's well, when people when I'm on the phone, they're like, "Oh, can we get your name?" I'm like, "Yes, it's Patrick, Gaughh." Because if I'm like, it's gone. Yeah. Oh, Giovanni, no, it fucking. It was a drunken Irishman, and he threw a bunch of fucking. Hey, let's throw a G in that.
Yeah, when you know that what you're about to tell somebody is going to be too complicated for them to hear and write down, you brace yourself, okay?
Yeah,
this is
going to be a long one.
I have to preface this with an apology.
Yeah.
Could you please sign this waiver? It's
and then afterward, how is that pronounced? Smith. I've actually done that before and got the same reaction.
Well, shit. When I go to open mics now, I just write Gone. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not even gonna bother with having all these comics butchering my fucking name.
Yeah. Nobody. When I go to open mics, I'll put Cory Kastle. Sometimes I'll just put Cory because sometimes people say cast, like they somehow forgot or they thought that L was two T's.
There's no L. Yeah.
And
it's silent L.
So yeah, I don't normally put the whole thing in the intro for open mics that much.
Sure.
And also when I do comedy, dude, I don't ever talk about pro wrestling. I don't really ever talk too much about any people go, oh, you tell stories from the road and stuff, like telling stories about matches you've been at and things you've done in the business. No, never, not once. Because,
no.
Because when I started doing comedy, I started doing open mics back in 2008. So a very long time ago, I started doing comedy, and back then, no one was a wrestling fan. Nowadays, everybody at comedy clubs and stuff are wrestling fans. Mm-hmm. All their comics are wrestling fans. That didn't exist before. If I said, oh yeah, I'm a pro wrestler, that gets a laugh because they don't believe me. like that part wasn't supposed to be the funny part.
It's like, wait, I'm getting to the joke.
Yeah, let me get there. You know, I had this is weird, and this is why I didn't do it. I had a joke. So I had stopped doing comedy for a while, and in the meantime, I had to have brain surgery back in 2011. I had to have brain surgery, and I wasn't allowed to wrestle anymore. So I was like, I got to scratch this itch, this like look at me hole. So I had to get on stage and do comedy. And I tried to talk about my surgery. And I said, oh, I just recently had brain surgery. And everyone, ha, 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 ha. I'm like, that wasn't the joke. I get to the joke part. I'm like, it really happened, you jerk.
That's the setup. It's the beginning. It's
let me get to it. No, but I had one joke about it, and it was only the fact that like my whole right side of my face for the first 6 to 9 months after my surgery was numb all the time. I couldn't feel my face at all, and there would be these moments where they would just get this real like sharp pain in the side of my face, and I go, and the people would be like, "Are you okay?" And I'd take that opportunity to mess with them and act like I was getting a psychic vision. And they're like, somebody with an F name in your family. Grandfather.
Oh, that's genius. That's something I would do.
Cory Kastle, wrestler, actor, comedian, fucking psychic medium.
See, now you would fit in Salem. Psychic medium.
Oh, but I think we got to wrap this up. I got mod pizza waiting for me.
Oh.
Yeah. My son got home a few minutes ago, and plus, I'm not gonna lie, I'm beat. I've been working all day, so
sure.
I apologize. Cutting this short at an hour and a half.
At an hour and 21 minutes. Hey, we're about where we were last time, so
yeah.
Nothing to apologize for, sir.
Oh, no need for
apologize.
But yeah, so. But I mean, this has been a blast, and we'd love to have you back, Cory.
I'm happy to.
Oh yeah.
Anytime. Like honestly, also I mean I was saying it to anybody listening, but I was meaning it to you guys as well. If I can be a resource for you in any way, if you have any other questions when it comes to podcasting, or it comes to comedy, or if it comes to pro wrestling, absolutely ask me anything, anytime. Like, don't ever feel like you're bothering me, because
will do.
Dude, I'm a real dude. I'm a real person. I am honestly out here. Like, I work a shoot job just like everybody else, but it's like I moonlight as a pro wrestler and a performer.
Sure.
But I'm working a shoot job every day since I was a kid. And you know what? This is another part of me wanting to treat pro wrestling like it's like independent pro wrestling, like it could be a full-time living business, like something I could make an actual living off of. And you know, not to say that like I resent having a day job. A job is necessary. A job doesn't define you. And I want everybody to hear that. Maybe listen to me say that again. Your job doesn't define you. It is the means for your income, your resources to keep the I heard somebody say this earlier, to keep food on your table and a roof over your head. But the person who said it said to keep a roof on your table and food on your head. And but for sure, you know, if you get frustrated with your job, you're not the only one who gets frustrated with your job. It's super normal to get frustrated with what your job is. You know, find an escape, find a friend, just do something that feeds your spirit. Doesn't mean that the thing that feeds your spirit is going to be the thing that monetarily fills up your bank account. It doesn't, but you know, you gotta fill your joy quota. You can't walk around with this like opposite energy of enjoyment, because what are you contributing to this world if you are?
Yeah, exactly. So I always say, we get one trip on this rock. You got to enjoy it. Yeah. So, but yes, on that note, thanks so much for coming on, Cory.
Yeah.
This was a blast. It was fun finally getting to talk to you. You know, we did.
It was a blast. Absolute blast.
And yeah. Check out Cory. Follow Cory all over on the socials. Fucking follow Cory Clash too. You know, we've talked about him enough.
I hope I was the best guest you guys have ever had.
You've been the absolute best
you've ever had. You were one of them. You were the only one. But yeah, so for Brian, for Cory, for me, for JG's, for Jim Bob Grizzly's Beard Care, for all the good stuff. We will see you in a couple of weeks. And if you want to stay tuned, fucking Jukebox is going to be hopping on here doing his show in a little bit. So again, thank you so much and good night, all.
Be fun. Have safe. Show's over.
And he should be killing it.
He should be. We may need to talk to our producer.
Yeah, I'm texting him right now.
You know.
We're still
Maybe
we're still live.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's the after show.
Maybe there should be a moment where you like have a way that you close the show or something. Like for me with my podcast, I always say my podcast, Evolving with Cory Kastle, on Spotify and Apple and wherever you find podcasts. I always say at the end of the show, I go like, hey, why don't you tell me what like your best impression that you do is? So I'll have somebody, and that'll normally start wrapping it up. I'll say, the way I wrap it up is I always say, be fun, have safe, keep evolving. That's the way I do it. So in whatever your best impression is, you say, be fun, have safe, keep evolving. That I'll usually say that to whoever the guest is. But for you guys, maybe you could be like, what's your impression of a goat sound like? That's how we end. You doing an impression of a goat.
That might be the one.
My impression is blood. It is. It's blood. I will end it with one of my favorite sayings in the wrestling business. To all the fans out there, mark the fuck out. Have fun. Enjoy it. Mark out.
Mm-hmm.